Hello everybody and welcome to another amazing video on the sports channel. And so today we are in a different format via Zoom. We're doing corn time on HUD's time. And so we're going to be doing the best MLB players from each major category, but all-time edition. But we always got to start off with the fun fact of the day. And so the fun fact of the day is baseball fans eat enough hot dogs that can stretch from Dodger Stadium to Wrigley Field. Which is just that's amazing.
That's crazy. That's a lot of dogs. That's a lot of dogs.
And so if you're wondering who I'm joined with, this is Coach Cornblum. He's the Midway coach. And introduce yourself, Coach.
Well, one, I got to do what Hudson does, and this is going to be an amazing video today. And just want to tell Hudson how honored I am to be on HJP Sports. I think I am, and tell me if I am the first co-host.
You are the first co-host.
Yes. So I'm excited about that. And we're going to go ahead and he's going to tell you about what we do, but we going to have our opinion on the best MLB players in certain categories. And I think this is going to be awesome. I'm fired up and ready to go.
All right, let's start off the video with the best contact hitter. I have Mr. Padre, Tony Gwynn. He's a big Tony Gwynn fan, big Padres fan. And so who do you have?
Well, one, I'm touched because you picked my boy. I had a jersey on earlier, but it's getting itchy, so I had to take it off. Anyway, I can't believe it. I would have picked Gwynn because my favorite guy, but I had to go with stats. So I have a tiebreaker right now. I have Ty Cobb, and I'll tell you why here in a second, and Pete Rose. Forget the cheating. I know he's not in the Hall of Fame, but Ty Cobb, 4,189 hits. Pete Rose, 4,256 hits. All right, Cobb, 11-time batting champion and hit over 403 times. How do you take that away from him? But Rose, in 15,861 at-bats, he only struck out 1,143 times in his career. Charlie Hustle, guy got after it, played the game the right way. So right now I have a tiebreaker, but I don't have Gwynn in there, which, you know, I had a little tear coming down when I had to make that decision. But I went ahead and went with Cobb and Mr. Charlie Hustle.
And so I picked Tony Gwynn because he batted .394 that season. Probably would have hit 400 because of the strike season.
Sad day, yes.
And he batted 400 against Greg Maddux and all the best pitchers. And so I kind of got my eye, And so yeah.
You can't go wrong. You can't go wrong with Gwynn. Number 19.
And so now for best power hitter, I have Hammer Hank Aaron. Just because 755 home runs. I was kind of going with Hank Aaron or Babe Ruth. But I went with Hank Aaron.
I had to go with the greatest baseball player of all time. I mean, whether he's on the mound throwing left-handed or he's hitting, I went with Babe Ruth. And, 714 home runs, HR or home run champ 12 times, won the World Series 7 times. They even have a candy bar named after him, the Ruth Bar. So, I don't know. I had to go with the Babe. I was feeling that.
And so next we have fastest player. I had to go with Ricky Henderson, just most stolen bases.
Yes.
So fast.
Same one. Love it. So why'd you pick him?
You kind of have to look at the stats. Just most stolen bases in a season, most stolen bases ever. And, I don't agree with some things you said. But
me too.
Yeah. But
not a fan of him. He's so weird, very into himself. When he stood up in front of everybody when he broke Lou Brock's record and said, now I'm the greatest of all time, I was like, and Lou Brock's standing right there. Come on, dude. Really? And you want a brief story real quick? So Ricky Henderson's getting on a bus trip with the San Diego Padres, and there's a rookie sitting in the front row. And that rookie said, hey, Mr. Gwynn, you can sit here. You have tenure. You have priority over me. He goes, tenure? I played for 19. Yeah, no idea what tenure meant. Or he has John Olerud, I don't know if you remember him. He wore the helmet in the field when he was a position player with like the Mets and Toronto. And Ricky had played with him in Toronto and gets traded over to the Mets. And he's like, hey, man, I used to play with somebody who wore a helmet like that. And old Rude goes, yeah, that was me. Didn't remember who he was. Yeah, so, but he can run. I mean, 1,406 stolen bases, man. The guy can get after it. And great leadoff. I think he has the all-time leadoff home runs ever. So,
And I see Ronald Acuna with him. He's like, Ronald Acuna probably has a little bit more power. It's not as fast. And then, you know, I kind of see that.
Yeah, but yeah, Ricky's he's a stud, just not the smartest guy in the world.
And then for most clutch hitter, I had David Ortiz. I feel like that's just – he's just so clutch.
Go ahead. I'm sorry. I cut you off.
Well, I mean, he broke the curse pretty much and just always been clutch.
He was clutch. I mean, reverse the curse. You got to give it to him. Shoot, this guy, I think in 85 postseason games, 51 hits, 17 home runs, 61 RBIs. Talk about clutch. I mean, you don't call a guy that's clutch Little Poppy. He has to be Big Poppy, right? So, I mean, he's a big guy. So we go Big Poppy, clutch guy. I'm with you there. That's awesome.
And then for best arm, I had to put Roberto Clemente. He's had a great glove. I think it was 12 Gold Gloves. And then just he had an arm in right field.
Yeah, 2 arms. No, I'm just kidding. Hey, but I went a little different with this. I knew that normally when they talk about arms, they talk about plays in the hole, shortstops coming up, with a rifle, like Sean Dunston, had a gun when he played with the Cubs back when in the 80s and early 90s. But I did a different route. I went with the catchers. So I looked at catchers because they kind of keep guys out of scoring position if they run on them, and who has the best rifle from back there, release. And I was kind of tied on 2 guys, Johnny Bench and Pudge Rodriguez, just because I think Bench had 43% success rate of throwing guys out. Pudge had 46%. They're keeping guys out of scoring position, controlling the run game. And I went with a different kind of view from behind the plate than in the field or, shortstop, outfielder type guys. So that's why I leaned.
Yeah, I feel like that was a good choice. I mean, Pudge had an absolute cannon behind the plate, yeah.
I got to watch him one time. I was behind – so my roommate in college, a guy named Neil Upshaw, his brother was Willie Upshaw, was a hitting coach for the Rangers in the 90s. And I got to watch Pudge throw from behind the plate. And I've never seen anything so quick in my life. It was like, oh, and it was out. And you're like, oh, my gosh. How did that even happen? Amazing. So, yeah, I'm with you.
And so for best glove, I had to go for the Say Hey kid, Willie Mays.
How about Willie? That's amazing. Willie Mays. I love it. So why'd you pick him?
I mean, just the catch. He's athletic. You see him make all these plays in center field. Do
you know who hit the ball on the catch?
I do not.
Vic Wirtz, left-handed hitter with the Pirates. Yeah, that was an amazing play. And what they never show on that play was the throw and where the throw went. I think the guy didn't tag up and he got the throw in. They doubled him up, which is amazing. They never talk about that. But, yeah, I'm with you. I don't know. He won Mays was in the All-Star game 24 times. That's amazing. And then they had 12 Gold Gloves. 12 Gold Gloves. I think you said that. But that also is Willie amazing. So, yeah, I'm with you. Best fielder all time.
Yes, sir. And then for King of Velocity, I feel like this is kind of a proven fact because he threw like 108. We got Nolan Ryan, the Express.
I'm with you. Same guy. I picked him also. So what else? Go ahead.
And when you just watch him, like I see him like on ESPN Plus when I'm watching like the archive games, and he was just nasty because even his four-seam fastball kind of had some movement on it, and so
rise. Yeah. He had a cannon. I videoed him one time, so never told you this one before, but I was at his last home game at the old ballpark in Arlington, and I'm videoing him from behind home plate, and you can hear him grunt. So every time, he had the high leg kick, and then every time he would grunt after every throw. Yeah, he was awesome. I mean, like you said, they had him down at 108. It was 100.8, but they were, radaring like 10 feet difference in what we do now. So today it would be like 108, which, I mean, the guy struck out over 300 guys 6 times in the season, 7 no-hitters. You imagine that. Played till he's 46 years old. And at 42 years old, he struck out 301 players. At 42. Guy's a stud. Thank God for Advil. And anyway, they named him the Express, right? The Polar Express, but the Ryan Express. So I think you got to give it to him.
He did have a little bit of, control issues, but he still threw was it 6 no-hitters or something around there?
7 no-hitters. So crazy. So what do you got next? What's the next category?
We got most nasty pitcher. I went with Randy Johnson because it was just so hard to hit as a left-handed batter, just with the arm angle from right here. Just with the slider, the nasty fastball.
You ever see the video of John Kruk in an All-Star game hitting off Randy Johnson? He was so nervous he flipped his helmet around.
I did see that.
And then went and batted right-handed. Yeah, that's awesome. That's how nasty he was. I took a different spin on this because I wasn't really sure what you meant by nasty. So I thought maybe you meant ugly. So the first guy I picked was a guy named Don Mossy. Don's not a very good-looking guy. Look at that dude. So that's kind of nasty. Can you imagine being at the home in the batter's box and him on the mound going, ooh, that guy's a little scary. So that's kind of nasty. Next guy I went with is Chuck Cottier. What is up with that face? Looks like he's got gas. So, and not the gas coming out of his arm. That's kind of a weird looking dude. So that's nasty. And then I went with Frank Zuppo. Look at the eyebrows on that guy. Or should we say eyebrow? Looked like he took a black marker and just made a line across the top of his head. Could be Frank's unibrow. So I went nasty that way. I went a little different. I know what you're talking about, but I put a little weird spin on it.
And so next we have most dominant pitcher. When I look at dominant, I look at, ERA and just nasty stuff. And that's what Sandy Koufax had. Low ERA, I think it was about 2.76, I think it was. And then just a nasty curveball, high leg kick, high release point. He was just so hard to hit, and he was dominant in his career.
He was. For 10 years, he was the dude. And you can't go wrong with Koufax. Best Jewish pitcher of all time, if you talk about ethnicity. So I think that's awesome. Good choice. I did a little different. I went with a guy not throwing so hard, but with a lot of movement. He's like the Picasso of all pitchers. He just likes to paint a lot. But I went Greg Maddux. I mean, he was only 92, topped out maybe when he was young at 95, or not even that hard. But 92 to 95, the years, he won 4 straight Cy Youngs, 3,371 Ks, 17 Gold Gloves. That guy can field a position. But I thought this was pretty cool, which is amazing to me. 20,421 hitters faced him in his career. He only went 3-0. 3 balls, no strikes, 310 times.
That's crazy.
That's crazy. So dominant. Yeah, he made me not throw hard, but man, that guy can make the ball move wherever he wanted to.
His 2-seam was so nasty. And then he had an 86 pitch game. That's crazy. And then when you look at against his old team, the Cubs, that's because he was on the Braves and then he pitched it against the Cubs. Right. I realized that. Yeah,
no, you're right. And very unassuming guy. He looked like a professor out there, right? He had glasses on, didn't look dominated at all. He didn't look like the 3 nasty guys I had, but he won a lot of games. So good choice. I like that. We got anything next? What we got next?
I've got most clutch pitcher because I feel like this is just like I feel like this is kind of what you would go with. Mariano Rivera, just so clutch. I mean, just
Yes, that's who I picked. I love him. So what made him stand out to you?
I mean, just him coming in so many times and then just getting the win for his team, even in the closest situations, and he still got it,
Well, obviously, nobody can hit the cutter, right? Best cutter in baseball at the time, or probably all time. I think he had a .70 ERA in the playoffs. What? 889 winning percentage. He's really good. He is just really good. The only other guy I was thinking about, just because I'm such a Padre fan, was Trevor Hoffman. Hellis Bell's coming in from the bullpen, crowd going crazy. The changeup is like nobody else's. But the World Series that Rivera won in the high-profile place that he played in, I think he can't give it to anybody else. So I'm with you. He's clutch.
And so that was the video for y'all, but we've always got to end it off with a shout-out. And so the shout-out goes to all the administrators that are trying to get us back to school for the 18th. I'll let you take it away, Coach.
Oh, I think that's a great choice. We just need to get back to school, right? We need to get back. And I was thinking about all the hard decisions that they got to make. And, that's a great shout-out. I'd like to pull my window open right now and just scream at them like, let's go. Let's do this. I mean, I got hazard suits ready to go. I got catcher's masks, gear I can wear. I mean, I'm all in. Let's get in there. Let's get in there and get back to school. So that's a great shout out. I love that.
Okay, so that was the video. So make sure y'all subscribe, like the video, send it to your friends, and see ya. Bye.
Bye.